then the extensive feedback from the lawyers started coming. So we would have these 14-hour days where we would shoot, and then I would go back to the room and I would have these 2-hour con calls with the producer from Jungle Pictures, Preeti Shahani, the lawyers from Delhi and me, and they're like, this character can't say this. Agar aap ye aise bol rahe ho, he is alluding that he is a corrupt person, or there is, politics inside. And I just patiently heard them out. By then, Vishalji was in the US, so I was left fighting these people. And my only thing was that, if we're going to pull out all the teeth of the film before we even make it, then let's not make it. Let's not self-censor. The maximum I will do is places which feel really volatile or object. We know that we may have an objection. We'll shoot alternatives which are safer and use them if necessary. But let's not self-censor right away. Thankfully, my censor viewing, the conversation with the censor board lasted exactly 1.5 minutes. The film was given a UA with no cuts, and all those alternative scenes that I had shot, I didn't have to use. I think somewhere the integrity and the intention behind the film.
What kind of alternative scene did you shoot?
Even the murder sequences, I shot it from different angles. One which was like upfront and more graphic. The other was where it's a little more distant with the murderer's back. So behind the murderer's back, so you don't see the actual slitting. When they discover the girl's body from the reverse axis, where you don't see the girl, but you see the backs of the parents covering the girl. So things like this. Dialogue. Where Irfan is reprimanding the cops, or in the last scene where he says your entire theory is a joke, and things like that, alternatives to that, which would be milder or more politically correct or whatever, but we didn't have to use any of those.
So there's a wonderful initiative that FICCI is doing upstairs on the 3rd floor. It's called FICCI Frame Your Idea, which lots of production houses and studios are listening to pitches and scripts from young filmmakers, writers, directors. They can just come 10 minutes, make a pitch. How difficult is it to take a story like this? You're making Talwar. You're making a story about a murder which is possibly the most talked about, most gruesome, most opinions are formed about this murder. How difficult is it to go to a studio and convince them and say, this is what we need to be doing? Over here, obviously, money does not matter, the actor does not matter. It's the studio is taking a very big call, right? So how difficult is it?
That was also actually almost serendipity. It was like, everything was working towards getting this film to be made. Preeti Shahani of Jungle Pictures met Vishalji to talk about Heather, and that didn't work out. So Vishalji passed on this script of Talwar to her and said, "Ye pad lijiye," and she loved it. And she said, "This is what we'd love to do this." But yes, everyone was very aware that it's a very, very unusual film. And what its potential is for earning or performance, etc. So working back from there, the budgets are very restricted. Basically, then it was all about number crunching. But once they came on, that conviction was very, very instrumental for the film, the way it got made. Jungle Pictures is part of Times of India. Everyone knows that Times now had a very, very clear opinion on the Arushi Talwar Noida double murder case. They thought the parents were guilty. They probably still do. Most of the Times of India Delhi editorial also was very clearly opinionated the way their articles came out. They weren't they weren't even neutral. And even then, for Jungle Pictures to agree to make this film, I think it's also very democratic of the organization as well.
So I think one level of criticism that I have heard and even participated in the film Talwar is that because the media had such a large part to play in forming the judgment of everybody. Did you do enough, or to show the media, or were you under pressure from the Times Group to say, listen, media ko haath mat lagao?
No, there was no pressure as such. In fact, we have a parody of Arnab Banerjee in the film, in the debate sequence, the TV panel debate, which Arnab Goswami, sorry, and which he saw when he saw the film, and he actually started laughing, and I was very nervous about how he's going to react, because he's kind of a scary person a little bit. So, yeah, but it went very well. There was a reason why we didn't want to dwell on the role of the media. Yes, the media behaved very irresponsibly, and it was a big part in the way the opinions about the case were formed, even in our minds. We were as guilty. We were as guilty in lapping up the stories without even questioning them. This thing of unnamed sources, which happens with crime reporting, investigations, and it even happens with Bollywood gossip. A friend says, a reliable source says, allegedly. How do we absorb and believe that information so blindly? So the fault was as much ours as well. But the important thing was that if I had dwelled on the role of the media, it would have exonerated the responsibility of the investigative agencies, the responsibility of the judiciary, the responsibility of the police, who were equally responsible in the trajectory of the case and the mess that was made of the investigation. So that's why we kind of kept it a little neutral.
Did Arnab watch the film?
Yes.
And what was his reaction?
So I think the first, trial by fire for the film was when the first screening we had outside of the unit that had seen the film or worked on the film was the entire heads of all the verticals of the Times Group, whether it was radio, whether it was television, the Delhi editorial team, all of them. And Arnab was there with a list of some 30 questions in his back pocket. They saw the film, and he was very gracious, and he said, I still have my point of view, but you've made a good film, you've kept it, you've balanced it well, is what he said. But he never asked me any of those 30 questions, so that was a good thing.
So in any case, if he asked you, you would not be able to answer because he doesn't let anybody speak.
Yeah, that also happened eventually when we went on his show, but yeah.
No, so you also told me that at one point, the third act of the film, which is where the second the second investigative agency comes in, you changed, or you had to rewrite, or you had to reshoot also.
Yes.
Why did you have to do that?
So the lawyers really started palpitating as the film was nearing completion, and when we finished writing our script, we met the family, the extended family, not Mr. and Mrs. Talwar because they were in jail, but we met his brother and his wife. We met the investigator of the first CBI team, but we could not meet the second team. For some reason, that meeting was just not being able to come together. And we started shooting anyway because Irfan's dates were running out. It would have been either I shoot in June or it would go 8 months later. So it was important to shoot the film as well. But the lawyers got into a little bit of a tizzy because in the original draft, the shooting draft of the film, we actually also covered a bit of the trial. And we went into court where there were testimonies and cross-examinations, etc. And the lawyers were very clear that you need to stay away from the judiciary. Because if somebody stands up and objects to the film, and if the topic lands in court, you want the judiciary on your side. So, keep them out of the picture. So a lot of the arguments that for and against the evidence or lack of it that take place during the trial were then incorporated into that long 13-minute table scene. So it was kind of like a quasi-trial that was happening in the film. So that was the part that was rewritten, and also I think we detailed out the second CBI team's investigation a little more to kind of play down the point that we're trying to tilt the story to one particular perspective. We didn't want to do that. So in maintaining that neutrality, we kind of detailed the second investigation a lot more. By then our meetings also came through. So we met two of the people from the team, the second CBI team. We
You
were
meet the officer who plays.
The investigative officer unfortunately passed away by that time, and so I never got to meet him. But it was very scary because we were very afraid that, you know, if they tell us something which we have not already gathered or learned from the media reporting or all the reporting about the case or the trial, if they say something and it, you know, kind of tells us that our entire film is on the wrong track. I had shot 60% of the film already, so it was very scary walking into that room. But fortunately, nothing like that happened. So.
No, so exactly. So I mean, I come back to the role that a studio plays in or a producer plays in greenlighting a project like this, in the sense that anybody can object, right? While you're making a film, the Talwars could have turned around and said, we don't want a film being made on our life, which did, for all intents and purposes, you've changed names around, but you, being the kind of person that you are and being the kind of legacy that you come from, I know that you would possibly turn around and say ki you would be mindful of that. If tomorrow, lots of people say, मतलब मैं उनके बारे में नहीं बना रहा हूँ, मैं तो fictional बना रहा हूँ, correct? But that's not what you were trying to do. So the CBI could have turned around and said that, listen, stop the film. Or the courts could have turned around and said, sub judice matter hai, band karo picture. Talwars could have themselves turned around and said that we don't know what she's making. She hasn't shared the script with us. You didn't share the script with them. So were you not afraid that to do something like this, and B, how much support did you get from your producers?
No, not afraid is not possible when you're making a film like this. I mean, you're afraid at every step of the way. The whole responsibility of making a film on a real issue, a real case. There are real people who are still alive, some who are behind bars, some who have played a part in the investigation, whether rightly or wrongly, but they are still people. And there's a very fine line between being disrespectful and being critical. Which was that fine line that we had to kind of balance on throughout. The support of the producer, Jungly Pictures, Vishalji, it was unflinching. But when legal would breathe down her neck, there would be, every alternate day she would call me, Meghna, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to pull the plug on this. Every alternate day from July 2014 to November 2014. Every alternate day, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to pull the plug on this. And I'm like, okay, Preeti, I understand. Maybe another time, another film. So we would have these conversations. And then when we finished the rewrite and we kind of got it vetted by the lawyers, they got a little more confident about the legal implications of the film. Then we shared the script with the Talwars as well. And we shared it with the clear intent that we are not asking for your permission. We are not telling you to endorse it. We are not telling you we will change it. We are just telling you this is what we are making. Because the crux of the matter is it's all in the public domain. So if we need to get militant about it, we could have, but it was just not the dignified way to do it.
No, so I come back to why Talwar, because it has everything going against it, right? I mean, why would you want to make a film which could shut down at any point? I'm not.
उस वक्त थोड़ी पता था. ये तो मतलब getting your hands and knees dirty, उसके बाद ये सब पिटारे खुलने शुरू हुए ना. We didn't know, I mean, one didn't realize, we didn't think that it would have all these problems. The minute I said, yes, let's do this, Vishalji said, okay, you start researching, let's start collecting the material. So it took a year and a half just for that. And if you spend a year and a half collecting material to begin to write a script, you're more than invested anyway. So then pulling back is...
So there are two characters when I watched the film which I felt that possibly would turn around and say, hey, हमारे को ऐसे क्यों दिखाया? You know, the Irfan's assistant who completed as a U-turn, as well as Irfan's boss, the guy who, the new CBI head. What were their reactions? Did they react to you at all?
So the smart thing over there is both those characters are actually amalgamations of several characters. So not one could have stood up and said, "Mujhe aise kyun dikhaya?" If you see the character played by Soham Shah, who is Irfan's junior, actually that character doesn't exist. It's an amalgamation of someone who was on the team of the first investigation at a distance and then actually headed the second team. So that's that. The guy who is Irfan, the second team, the incoming CBI director, Shishir Sharma, JK, or in the film, is also an amalgamation of two characters. Because what happened was the structure of the hierarchy of the team changed. In the first team, there was the head of the CBI, then there was directly Arun Kumar who was investigating, and then he had his officers. When the team got disbanded and a new team got formed, at that time the CBI was also shifting offices. So they didn't have that red building in Delhi that we know, and their new office was not made. So they were operating out of Dehradun and in Delhi. So there were two heads actually reporting to the CBI director. And then there was an investigative officer and a prosecutor. So actually there are an amalgamation of the incoming director of CBI and one of the heads.
So did you feel somewhere that by being clever, you were not being true to what you had started out trying to do, or did you feel that this is something that was necessary to do because, I mean, people would possibly get offended and shut down the film? So
no, actually, it didn't come from the fear of people getting offended. Neither were we trying to be clever. It was purely a very practical writing decision. What happened initially in the case, in reality, is that when the police investigated, the Noida police was investigating, and Hemraj's body was found, the first investigative officer, the inspector who reached there were 3 transfers that happened. Ek ke baad ek, 3 inspectors got transferred. If we had to stick to all those details, we would not have a single identifiable character who would hold the thread. So what we did was that in the film, we kept the face of the Noida police investigation as the SP and the SI, which is Gajraj. So those were writing things that we did. One interesting thing is, I don't know whether you remember, but at the end of that long round table scene between the two teams where they have a face-off, JK, Shishir Sharma, has a dialogue where he says ki, when the Home Secretary asks ki case court mein prove kiya ja sakta hai ki nahi, and he says ki parents कातिल हैं हमारे पास, मतलब we don't have the evidence to prove that the parents are guilty, but we also know that no one else can be the killer. Something to this effect. This is actually verbatim a line that was told to me in one of the meetings with the people from the CBI. I mean, this was their explanation, that we don't have the evidence, but we also know that no one else can kill. I mean, how much logic, does that statement hold is something to be considered.
did the Talwar see the film?
I don't know whether Mr. and Mrs. Talwar have seen it because they're in jail, but I know the family, their brother, their wife, his brother's family has seen it. I know they have relatives who live in Toronto. Shri Paradkar is a journalist with Toronto Star. A lot of her writing was actually part of my research material as well. When Talwar screened at TIFF, she was actually sitting behind me. And she said that I didn't cry when I saw it the first time. I didn't cry because the journalist in me was watching whether you had done justice to the case. In the second screening, she was sitting again behind me, and we didn't talk, but she would send me this message saying that I didn't sleep all night after the second viewing, and I haven't stopped crying because now the aunt in me was watching the film. So, yeah.
You didn't have to do the whole Rashomon, 3 different versions, right? I mean, very clearly, knowing you, there's a point of view that you have on the case, and you have on whether who has behaved irresponsibly, not behaved irresponsibly. Why did you choose to do 3 different versions?
it was important to bring out all the versions because, you know, I think part of the reason the film has connected with the audience is because we left the decision to them. We put them in the position of power, ki you decide. If I had come to them with a film saying, this is my point of view, take it or leave it, it would not have connected the way it did. I think that was a very big factor. Plus, you know, in something like this where I actually don't know what happened, I just have an opinion. To make a film out of that and amplify my opinion at that level, I don't think is a very mature thing to do.
So, I mean, lots of people might be today turning around and telling you that because, I mean, and I admit it, I would like to openly admit it, and because of Talwar, Airlift was possible. Because of Talwar, I think Neerja is possible. Because what it did to allowed studios to sit up and say कि ऐसी picture बन सकती है, ऐसी कहानियाँ बन सकती है, we can make that.
Stop lying, you already making
I was already
Airlift
making
before
Airlift,
Talwar
yeah.
release.
No, but I'm just saying it helped. It helped a lot. It did help a lot. But no, Neerja was not being made. I know Neerja was started made just after you. My question is that the same studios, and I know that there are several studios that possibly turned around because they did to us also and scoffed at us and said, Ki, you can't make a film like that. Are they calling you up now and saying Talwar 2, Talwar 3, Talwar 4 banao?
Matlab, that stuff comes at me in various ways. Something on Ruchika Gerotra, please. Something on Ishrat Jahan, please. I think, and strangely, when we were launching the trailer after the film got censored, is when that, what is that name? Indrani Mukherjee case broke. And the parallels were...
You should make that film.
See, yeah, so that came at me. It came at me, ki abhi is pe, and yeah.
On Peter Mukherjee side, Sheena Bora side, and Indrani side.
And the son also.
I'm giving you the script also. Son also.
Yeah, so yeah, that does happen, which is also very flattering. But no, thank you.
No, so do you in hindsight, I mean the film could have gone this way, that way, do you in hindsight think that obviously that this is the kind of film that you would have wanted to make irrespective of where and how, what people were telling you to do?
You know, I think I've been doing that since my first film, because even when I came up with the script of Filhal, the advice that I got was, ye kya hai? You know, there's nothing for a hero to do. It's about two girls. It's about having a child without the involvement of the man. I mean, what are you doing? And I think you want to make this your one and only film.
Since then only been mad. College se pagal thi, abhi bhi pagal hai.
Like that. But no, I don't think anyone on Talwar ever expected. It was completely an experiment. From the studio side also, from our side also. For me, it was very scary for two reasons. I was completely stepping out of my comfort zone. I make soft relationship-based films where women are important characters, and this was a completely all-male film. I mean, it was so masculine in the cast, in the crew, in the treatment, in the genre. That was one. And two, you know, you have a script which has been written by Vishal Bhardwaj, and you have to execute it. You have to execute it with a team that has come from him, with actors who worked with him. So, I mean, yeah, I set myself up completely.
That's my next question, because that was actually a big factor when I decided to produce Airlift with Raja, which is that you will not come on the set. So I said, yeah, I won't come, don't worry. मुझे अपने तेरे set पे आने की कोई शौक नहीं है. How much did Vishal come on set, not come on set, help, not help, what?
No, so unfortunately he was busy with Heather. I had to drag him, ki please aa jao. So he came once on the Muhurat, and both times we shot that long scene for a bit in the beginning. But otherwise he didn't, and he was away, and he was between Heather and also the Broadway Monsoon Wedding. So he was in the US as well. So I'm glad that he didn't come on the set, because that would make me more nervous. You know, that's the embodiment of your pressure. Otherwise, the mental pressure is there, the image of him is there in the back of your mind, but yeah.
But what was his reaction when he saw the film?
Huh, so we put the first cut together, and then I told my team that I'll, if all goes well and I get the nod, I'll take you all out for a treat. So we finished watching, and so he looks at me and he goes, you can go, you've made a good film, go. Aise karke. So yeah, it was nice.
Okay. I have two more questions. Was it serendipity, or that the blindfolded lady has a talwar in her hand? Was it serendipity, or since a child we've seen that, right? At every courtroom scene, she's standing there with the tarazu. You've never seen the talwar nobody's ever seen it, right? At least I haven't. And when the trailer broke and Prakash Belavadi has that line, I remember I called him up. He was working in airlift. I said, "You have the best line in the film." Yeah. How did that come about? And their name is Talwar, so it just works, right?
Yeah, so the title of the film being called Talwar is obviously Vishalji's genius, but so what happened was that we were doing this scene, which is a conversation between Irfan's character and Prakash Belavadi's character, but it was placed later in the film, where after he gets chucked out of the case, he goes and he's brooding, and his senior, who's not in the CBI anymore, is sitting with him and trying to kind of pacify him. And a kind of reference line that I had written at that point was to bring out the parallel, because this case is also so much about what is so obvious, and you see that, what is thrown at you the largest, you see that, but you don't even notice the fine print or the stuff beneath the surface, which is the case with the Statue of Justice and the Talwar. So it was kind of like a reference line, and then the dialogue came from there.
And my last question is that there's a very interesting nod that you've given to your dad in the film, where Irfan calls...
That's not me, that's the writer.
It's a superb nod. Yeah. All of us who have been fans of Gulzar Saab just said, wow. Yeah. To have a relationship between Irfan and Tabu based on that one Andhi dialogue, Ijazat dialogue, so it was fantastic. So,
yeah. That, my God, that whole track we have debated so much कि इसको रखें, इसको उड़ा दें, इसको रखें, इसको उड़ा दें, नहीं स्लो कर रही है, नहीं अच्छा है, थोड़ा सा ब्रेक मिलता है, नहीं स्लो कर रही है, नहीं अच्छा है, थोड़ा सा ब्रेक मिलता है. And then finally it was like, no, you know what, everyone chuckles when that reference comes back कि इजाजत फिल्म देख रही हो क्या?
मेरा कुछ सामान is in the background. Yeah.
So नहीं, we'll keep it. So this was Vishalji's writing completely. Yeah.
So I've asked whatever questions I could think about asking. If you guys have anything to ask, please go ahead. Can we give mics across?
आपकी फिल्म रिलीज के बाद ये तलवार दंपति को कुछ फायदा हो सकता है?
उम्मीद थी कि कोई कुछ फ़ायदा हो, बट आई थिंक हमारी ट्रेजेडी ये है कि हम डिबेट करते हैं, हम सोशल मीडिया पे रिएक्ट करते हैं, बट एक्चुअल तौर पे कुछ हिलता नहीं है. सो अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव डिबेटेड, ट्वीटेड, क्वेश्चन, पिटिशन भी चलाई गई टू फास्ट ट्रैक द केस, बट उनकी बेल डिनाई की गई थी. वो अभी भी जेल में हैं, उनकी बेल दोबारा से भी डिनाई की गई है, उन्होंने अप्लाई नहीं किया. और हाई कोर्ट में केस पेंडिंग है. Allahabad High Court is now backlogged by about 25 years. So it's currently listening to cases from 1998. So
फिल्म आने के बाद उनको उम्मीद बनी होगी?
नेचुरली, मतलब आने के बाद नहीं, आई थिंक जब उनको पता चला कि इस कहानी पे फिल्म बन रही है और कौन बना रहा है, कौन नाम जुड़े हैं, तो नेचुरली एक होप आती है. एंड फॉर मी दैट वाज द बिगेस्ट प्रेशर, बिकॉज मैं उनको एक बिल्कुल ही होपलेसनेस की जगह से, बिकॉज दे हैव नथिंग मोर टू लूज. वो जेल में है, उनकी बेटी नहीं है, और उनकी मतलब डिग्निटी, रिस्पेक्टेबिलिटी की धज्जियाँ उड़ चुकी है. सो दे हैड नथिंग मोर टू लूज. आई वॉज पिकिंग देम अप फ्रॉम अ प्लेस ऑफ होपलेसनेस एंड पुटिंग देम इन अ प्लेस ऑफ होप, विच वॉज वेरी स्कैरी. But like they say, one keeps persevering, and keeping the hope alive. Hopefully, kuch ho.
A similar question. I'm Charu from Delhi. And Arushi case, it really shook the whole of Delhi and the whole of country, and of course us also. The question is like, how difficult or easy was it to approach Mr. and Mrs. Talwar since they were in the jail? And I mean, you must have got several questions before approaching them to take their nod for the movie. So what was it like?
We didn't actually take the nod for the movie because all of our material was based on information in the public domain. We actually finished our shooting draft of the script, and then we shared the script with the family, with Mr. Talwar's brother, who actually is quite in charge. I mean, even during their trials and things like that, he's been the one in charge because Mr. Talwar was probably in jail, and so he was actually the guy who was calling the shots. Yes, we did get feedback from them. We did get a lot of insightful information. You know, there is so much confusion about वो जो 3 दरवाजे थे घर के, सबकी अपनी अपनी ओपिनियन है कि वो पहला वाला दरवाज़ा, फिर उसके बाद जाली वाला दरवाज़ा, फिर उसके बाद मेन दरवाज़ा और बीच में एक सर्वेंट्स रूम का दरवाज़ा. So he was the one who actually gave us a lot of insight and laid out the whole thing for us, because even the house was out of bounds for us to go and see. It was locked down.
You didn't visit the house and the terrace?
We couldn't. We couldn't.
And didn't you think that you should have, been to the actual location before shooting for the whole?
See, now the thing is that, when you start wanting to do things like that, you also get accused of, being a megaphone for the cause, which we didn't want to do. It was very clear that our film was about the investigation and how botched up it was. What its impact was or what its implications were are secondary. It was actually a look at the investigation into the case. Plus, the house was locked up. We weren't allowed access to it.
And was it easy from the police department and all to get the permission to shoot the film and to make it?
So here's the thing. We started shooting in June 2014. Our trailer broke in August 2015, which is actually the first time we publicly accepted that we were making a film on this subject.
There were so many questions because it's a real life story. So
yeah, so we did not publicize that we were making a film on this subject. We didn't talk about it at all because it was extremely dicey to do so.
I'm sure you must be a little, before publicizing it, you must be really thinking, what would be the reaction like?
We didn't publicize it till we had our censor certificate. Once you have your censor certificate, then, then you're more confident to talk about the film and then take on whatever comes your way. Actually, anyway, films are soft targets. Anybody can sue a film for anything. So, this case is no.
There are many questions, but I think
we are living in a country where you can anything is hurtful to any community, any person, anything, right? So when you make films like this, even when I made D-Day, we made it completely under the radar. In fact, when it released, the police called me up the next day and said कि ये picture कैसी बनी है? तो I said इरफान खान है, अर्जुन रामपाल है, छोटी सी पिक्चर है, हम लोगों ने बना दी सर, रिलीज भी कर दी. He said that it's a very very difficult thing. I mean, it's a very bold thing that you've done, and now you're in a lot of trouble. But I think when you're making films like this, it's very important to try and keep it as quiet as possible, because everybody will have an opinion. Also, as filmmakers, why will we not want to go to the location? We would give us access to it. Why will we not want to talk to the people who were involved in? When we were writing Airlift, my writers wanted to meet the Ministry of External Affairs. जब भी हम लोग लेटर लिखते थे, they would laugh at us and say कि आप ऐसी पिक्चर बना नहीं सकते. Because also I think a lot of that has to the blame has to come to us, because everybody views us with the same with the same the thing that हाँ कि ये लोग गाने करेंगे, वो तो गाएगा ही, यही करेगा, कुछ नाच गाना होगा, कुछ डिशुम बिशुम होगा. It's going to be a frivolous film in any case. So nobody actually takes you seriously when you put the information out there. So that becomes a little difficult. I want to I think like lots of people come up to us and say that Talwar bani hai, Airlift bana hai, Neerja bani hai, Kapoor and Sons is making. Thank God it's changing. You know, my thing is that I don't want it to change, literally, because I think that the 300 crore films should be made, which will allow us to make these kind of films. So that the studios make those big 300 crore films, they will then say कि हाँ अपना bottom line is secure. Chalo, which is the way actually the way Hollywood functions. They do an Avengers, they will do a Transformers, but then they will do a Revenant. The same studio will make a Revenant. So I think as long as we get that formula correct, best of luck to everybody who's making the 300 crore film. I can't make it. I don't know whether she can. Definitely. So definitely what I think what is happening is that there are people who are, when you go now and say कि मुझे picture बनानी है इस पे, and there is a real life story, this is the script that has been written, we've got the permissions from this one, people do turn and say great, let's just hear it, so.
I think that the shift has come in the studios most certainly, and thank God for that, for filmmakers like us. Varna, we'd be out of work. So that shift is there. Whether it is in the administration and the system, I don't think so. I mean, films are such a small part of their radar anyway. What is that going to change them, how they function? Yeah.
Excuse me.
Where? Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. My question is about the long table scene. In general, we see in movies like these kind of discussions in courtroom or investigation room, the discussions are highly emotional. But here, you executed in such a way that it's with light humor, that they are making jokes on each other. Why did you choose this way to execute that scene?
Two reasons. One, because in keeping with the tone of the film is speckled with black humor from the beginning to the end. Secondly, when you actually look at the things that they're saying or the facts and evidences that they're discussing, it's actually a theater of the absurd, because sometimes their arguments are actually bordering on absurd. So the best way to do it is to do it humorously. Also, because of where the scene comes in the film, we have taken you through a murder and its investigation twice over, which is already sitting very heavy. You're kind of fatigued with all, and the film is relentless. The information that keeps coming at you is relentless through the film. At that point, what is happening is actually a tulna of all the investigation, all the material evidence, all the facts. It's actually coming together over there. If one had done it seriously, you would have gotten so burdened that you would have probably gotten up and left. Because it's 7 people sitting in chairs and talking for 13 minutes. There's no other way better to do it than to do it lightly. That's what makes it watchable, actually. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, two small questions. One is a follow-up from his, because it does come across as a little disjointed from the rest of the film, the last table scene, both in terms of tenor and it got talked about. Why did Meghna choose to do it very differently? But now that you've
You're actually the first person who's saying it seems just disjointed.
not disjointed, maybe too strong. Well, it's different. As you said, it's a deliberate attempt on your part to make it a little lighter, so to speak. But it took away some bit of intensity. Everybody was so, as you said, sat heavily onto our guilt, our inward looking and all of that. Yeah, but it did come across as that to me as a viewer.
Okay.
My question is, going back to the lawyers part, so much we talked about the lawyers. Finally, did any case get filed against you, or did anything happen?
No. Thank God. Yeah.
So I just want to make a comment on the last scene, which as a filmmaker, it's possibly the most boring situation that you can ever shoot. 7 people sitting on a table, you have to shoot OTS, close, एक wide, एक इधर ये axis से wide करो, ये axis से wide करो, फिर close, close, close. कोई उठ नहीं रहा है, कोई staging नहीं है, staging you already established. एक shot में आपका staging establish हो जाता है. What do you do after that? So then you're relying completely on performance. You're relying on the lines. So as a filmmaker, where making a film, every day going to a set is about how much control can I keep. Right? Matlab, location is going to take some control away from me. The cameraman is going to take some control. The actors are going to take complete control over from you. So how much control can you keep as a filmmaker? Where is my vision going to get compromised? That scene, I think in my opinion was the best way to end that film, because like she said, it is a sametna of all the information. They are talking about how they slept on top of that girl. They're doing some Barbie doll kind of thing. It was brilliantly executed in my opinion, because as a filmmaker you're so easily you can do the camera moves and you can make it very dramatic and all that. She just kept it true. Coppola had a saying which I keep telling all my assistants, that first be truthful, then be interesting. That was truthful. That scene was truthful.
Thank you.
That was a lovely point, yeah. Hi Nikhil and hi Meghna, this is Varsha. First of all, a hearty applause to the kind of films you guys have made, Neerja and Talwar.
Airlift.
Airlift and Talwar, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. My question was, like, when you're doing something on real time, like real life, the kind of research that goes behind it, and the information that you get is so exhaustive and multidimensional. So I would love to hear from both of you, the perspective that you kept in mind while you got down to, writing the script. I'm sure there would be some perspective you would have had, or like, how did you go about it after you had the research content?
So for Talwar, like I said, right at the outset, we knew that we wanted to present both theories. One theory where the parents are guilty, and the other theory where the household help and the compounder are guilty. Fortunately for us, what happened was that when we started researching for the script, the trial of the case had started. And that was being covered. In fact, Aviruk Sen had a running column in Mumbai Mirror where he would, every time there was a hearing, the next day you would have an encapsulation of that hearing with his point of view, his opinion. He would link things back. So a lot of times what was happening was the information that we had collected from reporting of 2008 would come fully into perspective when it was actually being evaluated in court in 2012. So that actually helped in filtering out a lot of the trash. For example, I don't know whether you all remember this, but this story of wife swapping about the Talwars, about them booking 12 hotel rooms, and doing the ski club kind of thing, did a lot of the rounds in 2008. In fact, it's even referenced in the film. Why did it not make it to trial? Because it was uncorroborated information. So similarly, a lot of things which were eventually not corroborated or got vetted out in the trial helped in filtering out content for the film. It's extremely exhaustive, and you then develop your own perspective and point of view. For us, it was very important to keep it objective and not get our personal biases in. I think we achieved that fantastically, and why I know that is because the first draft of the script we completed and we gave it to my father to read. And I still have his handwritten comments on the hard copy, where he says it's too much technique, too much investigation, where is the emotion? And I knew that we had got it right because that's what we had decided to do, that keep it completely devoid of emotion. We need to keep it objective, let the emotion come from the audience.
So as far as Airlift is concerned, for me, it was, it's again, just like in D-Day, that my driver asked me a question. Raja Menon came to me with a different script altogether. Most filmmakers would have this perception that the studio, forget the audience, we don't think about the audience right in the beginning. You're thinking, how do I even just pitch the studio, and how do I get the studio to agree to back me in this film? So you have this entire conversation that you made up in your head, कि मैं ये बोलूँगा, फिर अगर वो ये मुझे ये बोल, सिद्धार्थ रॉय कपूर ये बोलेगा तो मैं ये बोल दूँगा, that kind of thing. You're playing back this thing in your mind. So he came to me with a different film because he had made two small films. He had made Bas Yun Hi and he had made Barana, and he came to me with a small film, and I said to him that, Raja, me as a first-time producer and you as a relatively new director, I'll spend the same amount of time convincing a studio or an actor to do this film, which you think I should be making for you, I'll spend the same amount of time doing that as well. So tell me the film that you think nobody will allow you to make. Nobody will give it, because it's the same time I will spend. उतना ही मेहनत जाएगा, उतना ही खड़ा रहना पड़ेगा स्टूडियो के बाहर. All that will happen. So I said, he told me the story of Airlift, and I said, it's not possible. You've completely made it up. It's not a true story. It's completely fictional. It's not 170,000 Indians stuck in a country and nobody gives a damn about them. How is it possible? So he sent me 2 articles. So there were 2 articles that were written about that film, because the Western press had been embargoed to write about Indians being stuck in Kuwait by the Americans, because the Americans didn't want to say that this is collateral damage. Who cares about Indians? So there was only 2 articles, and he sent me the 2 articles. I read it, and I said to him that in a country where everybody has the ability to say कि इस देश ने हमारे लिए क्या किया, everybody, आप किधर भी जाओ, आप 3rd class compartment में जाओ, आप go into high society dinner, everybody has the same complaint. What the hell has this country done for you, or done for us? This is what a country did. And they did it at a time when the country was at its most volatile. Mandal was going on. We had the government was very tenuous. And I said we should make this film. So I think the research and all that came after that was because you had a great set of writers who believed in that. And they just did that. Yeah, I think that we are done now. I think they're distinct. So we'll ask one last question. Yeah. Please pass on the mic to him, please. One last question and we can. Then we'll have Virat Kohli is playing in the evening. Yeah.
Hello, sir. I just want to ask one question. Talwar, when it happened, it's a very complicated case, keeping in mind the reports that came in the papers. Also the book by Aviruk Singh. It gives a detailed analysis, and there was a lot of things for you to put ahead, and you had to be right when you did, irrespective of the emotions. Keeping in mind only the information. The book has a lot of threads, like the postmortem report about the sweepers of the hospital giving their point of view on the postmortem report, the mobile phone jazz of Arushi that were just found in another place altogether, even of Hemraj for that matter. How did you channelize few information? And I know writing a book is a different story, right? Making a film is a small thing, like a small minute of time. But you had to churn up information and give out. Do you think you did justice in giving out, and how did you churn up such a lot of information to give few pieces? Did you lose any few pieces over here while giving out that?
I would hope not. I think the film is pretty exhaustive in terms of the content about the case. Like I said, a lot of the things which eventually didn't make it to trial or were not focused on in the trial, we kind of did away with, or we just minorly referenced. For example, the Arushi's mobile phone being found in Bulandshahr is also mentioned in the film, but the point being what? That the photographs were deleted from the camera, or the phone's memory was deleted. All of those nuggets of information that was fed to the media and which then reached you eventually amounted to what? In terms of proving somebody innocent or guilty? What? Nothing. So we dismissed it. We didn't want to waste our energy on it. It was not cinematic, it was not even effective, it was not even relevant. So we dismissed it. That was actually our sifting process for information around the case that we put into the film. It was important for me to discredit the postmortem doctor, which we did. I don't know how many of you know this, but it is a fact, and I have a copy of the original postmortem report where he has put the time of death as 12 p.m. So, I mean, this stuff doesn't get amplified in the media, but these are things which actually impact the guilt or innocence in a case.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Mr. Nikhil and Ms. Meghna for sharing such an enriching and captivating session with us on such a pressing and delicate issue.
How long did you rehearse that?
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
Thank you. Our next session is just about to begin in 2 minutes, so you are requested to please stay with us and kindly take your seats. Thank you. क्या डिस्कशन निकला आपने तलवार के बारे में?
नहीं, फिकी फ्रेम्स वाले ने मुझे फ़ोन किया, उन्होंने कहा कि मेघना गुलजार के साथ आपको एक सेशन करना है तलवार के बारे में। तलवार मेरे हिसाब से पिछले साल की सबसे बेहतरीन फिल्म थी, अगर इफ़ नॉट द बेस्ट, पॉसिबली वन ऑफ द बेस्ट फिल्म्स ऑफ लास्ट ईयर। और एज ए फिल्म मेकर जिसने डी-डे जैसी फिल्म बनाई है, एल.एफ. जैसी फिल्म बनाई है, मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है इस किस्म के फिल्म्स पे। तो मैंने इमीडिएटली हाँ बोल दिया कि मेघना इज ऑल्सो अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइंड, वेरी गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइंड, वी वर इन कॉलेज टुगेदर, तो आई सेड यस।
आपने फिल्म देखी है,
जी।
आप कितना प्रेज करते हैं?
फिल्म कमाल की है, जिस तरह से उन्होंने अलग अलग जो पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज़ बताई है, बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट होता है इस किस्म की फिल्म को बैलेंस करना, तो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत कमाल की फिल्म है। मेरे हिसाब से नहीं है, मुझे मतलब नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स तो मैं कौन होता बोलने के लिए। मेरे हिसाब से फिल्म बनाना ही बहुत मुश्किल बात है, तो उन्होंने जिस तरह से फिल्म बनाई, जिस तरह से संभाला है, कमाल की फिल्म है।
लेकिन निखिल सर, जो भी आपकी फिल्में होती हैं
जी।
वो बड़ी कमर्शियल सक्सेस की तरफ जाती है।
जी।
आप कब आर्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स की तरफ बढ़ेंगे?
मैं आप नहीं कह सकते कि मेरी फिल्म कमर्शियल, मैंने बनाई है। हीरो और कट्टी बत्ती दोनों फ्लॉप फिल्म थी लास्ट ईयर, तो मेरी फिल्म्स डी-डे अच्छी है, दिल्ली सफारी भी अच्छी है, जो एनिमेशन फिल्म थी एयरलिफ्ट, हाँ अब कमर्शियल फिल्म हो, मतलब कमर्शियल सक्सेस है, बट मतलब एज अ सब्जेक्ट इट इज़ वेरी डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट, तो वी आर एज अ कंपनी लुकिंग एट डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स।
सर कुछ स्टोरीज जो आप
बिल्कुल नहीं, अब राइट नाउ नॉट।
मैडम, आज इतना बड़ा डिस्कशन हुआ तलवार को लेके, कितनी मेमोरीज रिकलेक्ट हुई और क्या क्या आज आपने बताया, कुछ जो नया हम लोगों को पहले से नहीं पता?
नहीं, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें तो आप जानते हैं, बस यही कि हमारे कितने लीगल टैंगल्स थे। एक इम्प्रेशन ये था लोगों में कि हमको तलवार दंपत्ति से ब्लेसिंग्स मिली हुई हैं ये फ़िल्म बनाने के लिए, और अगर ये बात सच होती तो ये फ़िल्म का हर दूसरे दिन बंद हो जाने का डर नहीं रहता। तो इस तरह की कई चीज़ें हैं जो एक फ़िल्म के बिहाइंड द सीन्स चलती रहती हैं, और वो यादें आज ताज़ा हुई तो अच्छा लगा।
फिल्म शुरू होने के बाद आपको कब लगा कि ये फिल्म बहुत मुश्किल प्रोजेक्ट ले लिया है आपने, क्योंकि आमतौर पर आप ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स करती नहीं हैं?
एक्चुअली वो सबसे बड़ी वजह थी इस कहानी को चुनने की, क्योंकि मैंने ऐसा कभी कुछ किया नहीं था। और फिल्म शुरू होने के बाद नहीं, जब फैसला किया कि इस सब्जेक्ट पे, इस कहानी पे, केस पे फिल्म बनानी है, तभी पता था कि ये आसान सफ़र नहीं होगा, बट आई थिंक दैट इज़ व्हाट मेड इट मोर एक्साइटिंग।
एक बार फिल्म की कहानी लिखी जाने के बाद कितनी इम्प्रूवमेंट आपकी तरफ से आए? ऑन द स्पॉट आपने कितना इम्प्रोवाइज़ किया है, या फिर कितना टू द पॉइंट रखा है स्क्रिप्ट को, या कुछ ऐड ऑन हुआ?
नहीं, मतलब स्क्रिप्ट से काफ़ी इम्प्रोवाइजेशंस ऑन सेट तो होती हैं, क्योंकि एक्टर्स भी अपने पर्सपेक्टिव्स लेकर आते हैं। कई बार शूटिंग रिस्ट्रिक्शंस की वजह से आपको चीज़ें मॉडिफाई करनी पड़ती हैं। लेकिन ज़रूरी बात ये है कि जो कहानी का एसेंस है, जो उसका सार है, जो उसकी रूह है, वो मतलब डिस्टॉर्ट नहीं हुई, वो सबसे ज़रूरी बात थी।
तलवार के बाद सिमिलर प्रोजेक्ट्स आपको ऑब्वियसली आपको मिले होंगे, तो उनको आप कर रही हैं या फिर कुछ और ही कुछ नए?
अगर कर रही होती तो खबर आ ही जाती अभी तक, बट नहीं, 2-3 सब्जेक्ट्स हैं जिन पर काम चल रहा है, और मतलब वो फैसला होते ही खबर मिल जाएगी।
प्रोजेक्ट्स कुछ ऐसे ही होंगे क्या इनसे अलग होंगे?
अब वो मैं सब कुछ तो अभी नहीं बता सकती हूँ। ओके।
For more news and gossips, don't forget to subscribe to Bollywood Helpline.